Good evening, all. Ira Epstein, and here we are with your SPDR ETF stock market wrap-up. This is your weekend edition for Friday, and we are at the 12th of January, 2024. So as we look at the markets and try to figure out what to do, a lot going on. You know about the airstrikes overnight from the UK and the United States using submarine and, from what I understand it, aircraft, and going in and launching and hitting 73 targets. Different strikes. I don't know if they were individual targets. I think there were 12 individual areas, but we never get that for a little while. We understand 5 people were killed, 6 injured on their part, and the idea is not to hit civilians, and that's what we should do. But it's not enough. I mean, they fired back immediately a missile. So what you should go in next time is 140 strikes. And then after that, 200 strikes. And you keep going till they get the message. It's not tit for tat. Just stop. That's it. We don't want to invade. We're not after telling them how to run their country. None of us are in the coalition. Just stop this nonsense in the Red Sea. Most of the ships have nothing to do with Israel. We know your anger. Your point is made. It really is made, all right? We know the world wants Israel to stop this. I don't know how Israel stops it when they've got to take out this element. So I don't have the answers to that, but the point has been made. Volvo, Tesla, both had to shut their factories down. Right out of Berlin, I know the Tesla one, I'm not sure where the Volvo one is, but the parts aren't going through the Suez Canal. The Suez Canal in the first 11 days of the year, the revenue dropped 40% compared to a year ago, those same 11 days. Traffic was down 30%. We have the Taiwan election. You got to pay attention to that. Who knows where that's going to carry the world in this crazy time. We have weather conditions that are out of control. We saw bank earnings to kick off today. And JP Morgan, which went up on the news, it was up nicely. And it gave it all up by the end of the day. Couldn't hold on. If the strong one can't hold on, what are the others going to do? We had PPI today. And the PPI report absolutely shows inflation falling in that index. That is good news. There's nothing I'm saying negative. I like what I saw there. It should spill over into the PCE index, which we get, I think, in about 2 weeks. And that's one that the Fed really looks at. And keep in the back of your mind, the Fed is looking for these things to happen. Therefore, then it can start the rate cuts. One report is not a trend. It's a beginning, but it's not a trend. And all you need to do is get another series of reports where labor comes out strong or the CPI strong. And you need some groupings of these. So we're going to get, before the March FOMC meeting, 2 more jobs reports, 2 more CPI, 2 more PPI. Let's get at least through the next batch and then really get and start saying, is it about to happen or not? I think it's too soon to make that decision. All right, so when I look at everything else, I'm going, all right, so what do the public want to do today? Well, I think people just said, what do I do over the weekend if there's war? What do I do about the big earnings season now beginning? And which stocks to look at? I was watching CNBC for stocks. My viewpoint is Bloomberg does a phenomenal job on indices, the broad market, speaking that way. CNBC is more about the individual ETF spiders and stocks. That is how I view them completely. And they're about equal on their fundamentals as I see it. It depends who they have on, who the panels are, and so on and so forth. But I wanted to know how they were looking today at the interest rate scenario from the banks and so on. So what I decided to do is go to Interactive Broker, not because I picked it, because they were talking it so much on this, and they say this stock, they being CNBC and some of the analysts there, this is their pick. They want to see when the earnings come out what this is going to do. So why not take a look at it? So when we look at the chart, you can see you've been sitting sideways for a while. You're trying to lift up. You've been caught. This is just a visual cue on a weekly chart. You've been caught from there to down there, and you're just sort of sitting, doing nothing at this point in time. Okay. When I put on the swing line, a different story shows. Now you got higher lows and higher highs. Swing lines are the core of what I use And then I look to see in the slow stochastic momentum. Remember, we are having this coming Tuesday, and I want to come to this now, our live webinar. I will open it at 12:15 p.m. Central Time for you to get situated, make sure everything's working for you. At 12:30, I begin. If you haven't signed up, there's still time. Move your cursor to the top here. There'll be an icon. Click it, fill out the form. You will get from us, after you filled it out, your user ID, your password, the link to come in. And in that email you get from us, there'll also be a link if you have any questions you want me to answer. I'm getting buried already. I'm getting quite a few of them. So that's good news, not bad news. So give me what you've got. It's very hard for me during the webinar, if you didn't give me the question on stocks, spiders, or ETFs, to bring up charts on them. Futures, I don't have a problem. I'm a futures broker. I have all the futures preset. There's only 40 that you really watch in futures. How many thousands upon thousands of stocks are there? I can't have all those charts. And then I want to put the studies on them. I've got them all on my futures. Got it? So that really helps me out when you do that. Okay? Calling me is not going to do any good. Nobody's going to be in the office till Tuesday morning with Martin Luther King holiday. Markets are open in futures. Remember that. They're not open normal times. There's abbreviated times, but they'll open Sunday night and move right on through. So when I look at this chart, I am bullish. Higher lows, higher highs. I look at the moving average. You have fought a battle for quite a while here, and you just a week ago cleared the 18-week average. You had an inside week. Trend up, where's the resistance? Not until you get to 91.71. Where's the support? Back at 83.64, the red line is the 18-week moving average of closes, but you are overbought. Overbought market, I don't tell my clients to step in overbought markets. I certainly am not bullish, but that holds me back. All right, I don't like overbought. Microsoft, this is the embedded reading. You went to new highs. I know you've heard me say it every day. It's one of my favorite stocks. And I've given you the reason. They're so smart. They're even putting on keyboards. They're contracting right now. So our keyboards will have a new button, and we hit it, and we get their AI. My staff uses AI right now. I'm amazed at what we're doing with it. I can't wait to get it myself on my board. I'm not a techie like that. I'm pretty good with tech. I had a guy call me a moron over the weekend because of my viewpoints on Bitcoin. And he's telling me I don't understand how beautiful it's used for goods exchange. And he's the moron. What size volume are you doing in a Bitcoin compared to currency? Who's doing it? Go buy your Starbucks coffee with your Bitcoin right now. Get your app out and do it and see who's going to take it. For the one company you'll brag about that can do it, there's thousands that aren't. That's not to say it might have its day in the sun. What I love about it is the blockchain. But I don't understand, and that's all I'm saying. I'm not against it. You people are all investing in it. I'll cover it. Why it replaces a currency. Remember, the idea at first was you were anonymous with these. You've lost all your anonymity the moment you open up a brokerage account. I got your social security number. We got where you live. We got your phone numbers. We have your income, blah, 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 blah. So that part of it's gone. So yes, if the next step is it's going to be accepted as another means of paying and it grabs traction, there's a lot to be said about it. 10 years later, you're still in your infancy. And I know you'll tell me the price used to be $200 and now it's $43,000 or whatever. For that, I'm a moron. Should have bought a lot of them at $200. But the rest of it, nah. Don't be insulting either. Lower low, higher high. You can see how the market's going through here. It's still embedded. I like that part. So could it move on? Yeah. Is it going to get bought on breaks? I think so. When the red line closes under 79, then I'll look for a pullback back to the 354 level. Right now, I don't see that. Then we come up to the KRE, the regional banks. Well, they are embedded too, and they held on to it. As long as they hold on to it, this can move even higher. Remember all that banking problem we had? It showed up today if you saw the bank earnings. Remember, it's not all banks that are going to pay this money to the FDIC to buffer against these things happening. It's the big boys. And you saw the monies coming out of who did we get today? Morgan, Citibank, there was a couple others in there, Wells Fargo. So you're seeing the money, and they've all given you what their provisions and what they're doing. But what I didn't like is the banks came out today, and the first thing they started talking about was, we're not going to make as much money on interest next quarter. I mean, that's their job to tell you what they think. Morgan didn't say that. That's the gold standard in the banking, in the earnings and how they've done. But the others are saying that. So that's a little bit bothersome, and they're correct. If interest rates are going to fall, and you're looking at a peak of rates, what's going to happen is that float that they earn on, it's called float, and that money that they make a percentage on is going to go away. It's why I'm covering IBKR. They are one of the few that really pay nicely to clients if you have an account with them. But they're able to keep a chunk of that, apparently. That's what the bet is and why it's being covered on CNBC. We'll see how the story plays out. I'm sure they'll talk about it all week. MCHI, all right, so here it is about China. Supposedly, we have two events. One is the supposed. Is China going to do anything to spur on the economy Monday? Word is they're going to do something with loan programs. Word is they're going to infuse money in other ways. I don't know what that means. They're never specific until they do something. And even then, sometimes it's esoteric. You have a hard time. What I do know is their economy is in the tank. It keeps getting worse. The market keeps going down, recognizing it. Now we have the election in Taiwan. If they don't like who wins, that could be a problem for the market. We will see what goes on. Tonight I was watching CNBC just before I was doing this, and of course they were showing the disinformation, warning the Taiwanese people that if you go with the candidates that are backed by America, America won't be there to defend you. Unfortunately, that's probably true. So you can see where we're at. When you look at this, you've got a lower low and a higher high, and you're embedded. So the industrial sector, contra Ira, because I kept saying, I don't get it. All I see is every report that comes out is terrible, including my own home city. Now, when you're embedded, I'm bullish. Lose it, and then I think you go all the way back there. Haven't lost it yet. XLE, the energy, does that look to you like a bullish energy market, Bart? It certainly doesn't to me. The market's back to the 100-week average for support. It's very oversold, not worth pursuing there. In the dollar index, you stayed under the Bollinger Band, so to get to the right-hand side of it, that makes all the sense in the world. But I don't see anything bullish here. I see an oversold market. I see a market that put in the first week, needs 3. Of both numbers being under 20. I don't see a bargain down here to do anything with it. In gold, well, what did you expect when the U.S. goes to war? And today was nothing short of war. I mean, you launched your airplanes, submarine attacks, and you attacked an enemy. And the market responded. You put up 36 cents. Not that good. I mean, you got as high as 191. You gave up a chunk of that. Silver market, back to just sitting here in a bear stage. The bears are probably still aggressive here, but I don't like that. I don't like selling the first break to a 200 and a 100-day average. The market's trying to stay over it, not under it. Sometimes you put your hands in your pocket, you do nothing. Tesla, this is no longer a $260 item. We're at $218. So the wealthiest man in the world has taken a hit. Remember, this was a stock that was 400. Did you forget that? It's right up in that range. And look at, you have come down. This is a car company now. A hell of a car company, but it's a car company. Why down today like this? Did you hear what else happened? It wasn't just that they have to close down a factory out of Berlin. They're cutting prices in China near, 2.5%, 3% in order to compete with BYD and the other home makers there of their cars to keep their market share. Well, each time they're doing that, while each car is still profitable, this has been going on a while. This isn't just happening, and the market doesn't like it, in plain English. Number two, they got bad press this week. Why? Hertz said, I can't rent the cars that I bought from you. That is the message. You can lolly-dolly, you can put anything you want over it. That's not what it's about. What it's about is plain black and white. They made the statement, we have all these cars, they were supposed to have infrastructure, people were supposed to do it. We jumped on the Biden bandwagon, we believed it, and nothing happened. And Hertz is correct. America just hasn't got enough charging stations. I don't get why. I don't understand the numbers of it. I don't know how you put them in for the fast charging. There's so much I don't know. What I do know is they're not there, and I'm not renting a car. If I want to drive, let's say I go to Phoenix, and I want to drive a couple hundred miles, go to Sedona, I want to go somewhere else. The last car I want is an electric car to make that trip. Okay, I've lived there, so I know what I'm talking about, okay? Where am I going to get a charging station is the first thing in the back of my head. And you'll tell me, we'll go to an app. I have to do that with a combustion engine. Car gets hurt. Who do I call on the open road to fix my Tesla? I can call AAA. They're going to meet me on the road and take care of me. I don't know they can do an electric car. There's too many things I don't know. And I know you'll tell me again, learn. You're right. All right, higher high, lower low, don't see what to do there. Uber's just proving what a good company it is. And, you know, they came out of this, and this is a company that took the pandemic, and we were all petrified. They, Lyft, DoorDash, these companies would get killed when we came out of it. Now, number one, the pandemic is still here. Chicago hospitals are starting to get overwhelmed between the flu and COVID again. My wife was supposed to go out to dinner with doctors last night, good friends of hers. They all decided to not go because of COVID. They're just staying away. They're wearing their masks all the time. They're in the hospital. They're nervous about it. And they go, we're seeing a lot of cases coming in now. So you got to be a little bit concerned. But they survived that. What else? They embraced this home delivery. I use Uber for food delivery at times. I love their ride share. I'm going somewhere. I had a car repair 2 days ago. So hop in, instead of $13, if I was willing, right on the same way for somebody to jump in with me, my fare would go down $2.85. Of course I hit it. Person comes in, hi, and I'm there. On that trip, okay, that's a big savings. So you look at that. I do look at these things. People don't get that, I do. Back and forth. You're over the upper band. I don't think you ever buy over an upper band. There's no circumstance that I would tell a client to do that. And in Google, wow, another powerhouse, looking pretty darn good as far as I'm concerned. So up to the upper band, overbought, not a spot to be adding positions, but certainly good looking, but a profit-taking area. Again, I want to see you come Tuesday. I hope you join me. 12:15, I'll open everything. Tuesday morning, you can call my staff if you have questions at the number you see here. Move your cursor up there and register. We're going to be full. I'm Ira Epstein. I'll see you Tuesday.